For this first problem, we're trying to find the least common denominator or least common multiple so that we can have all the denominators the same. That way we only have to look at the numerators to be able to compare these. So to find the least common multiple, there are a couple things that we can do. One thing we can do is we can take and find the prime factorization. We do that by simply finding the factors. For instance, 2 times 6 equals 12, and 2 cannot be made into another multiplication problem. 6 becomes 2 times 3. So we have 2 written twice, so 2 squared times 3. For 20, we're going to have 4 times 5. You could also use 2 times 10. You will still get the same answer. 4 is 2 times 2. Those are both prime. 5 is prime. So we have 2 written twice, 2 squared times 5. For 60, we can use 6 times 10. 6 is 2 times 3. Those are both prime. 10 is 2 times 5. Those are both prime. So we have 2 squared times 3 times 5. Now we're going to multiply the most of each one. So we have 3 different ones that have 2. We'll use the first one. Since they're all the same, we can use any one. We have 2 of them that have 3. We can just use the first one. We have 2 of them that have 5, so we can use the first one. So we have 2 squared times 3 times 5. So 2 squared is 2 times 2. Once again, 2 written 2 times 3 times 5. We can use the associative property to go ahead and put 2 and 5 together to make 10, and 3 and 2 together to make 6. So 6 times 10 is going to equal 60. So 60 is going to be our least common denominator. Another way to find the least common multiple or least common denominator is to simply list the multiples. So that simply means 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, counting by 12s. And then 20, 40, 60, 80, and then 60, 120. We can see that all 3 of them have 60. So by doing this, we also see that 60 is our least common denominator. Now that we know 60 is going to be the common denominator, we're simply going to make each of the fractions equal to that number over 60. So our first one, we would have to multiply 12 times 5 to get 60. So we'd multiply the numerator times 5 to get 35. 20 times 3 is 60. So 13 times 3 is 39. And then 23 times 1 would be 23/60. So once again, when we multiply both of these by 5, 5 over 5 is 1, and 3 over 3 is 1, and anything times 1 is a sum. So these are equivalent fractions. Now we're simply going to go ahead and put them in order, and all we have to compare are the numerators because the denominators are like terms. So that means our smallest one is going to be 23 over 60. Our next one would be 35 over 60, and the largest one would be 39 over 60. So if we used our original problems, we would have 23 over 60 and 35 over 60 is our 7/12. And the largest one then would be the 13/20. Once again, these are equivalent fractions. So once again, our goal, get a common denominator. That way all we have to look at is the numerators.